everybody. Welcome to Week 5 of the high school football season here on YouTube, Altoona Mirror Sports Channel, high school football. Once again, joined by our beat writer, covers all things high school football, Mike Boydum. I'm your host, Scott Franklin. And before we get to our 5 games, you'll notice we have our 5 cups from last week, and there are no new additions to our family. They were hoping for another brother and sister cup. They got nothing. I'm still counting on Nick Loveridge at Bellwood to somehow get a cup up to us. I know Mike is covering Central Cambria tomorrow night up in Ebensburg. I imagine if Randy Wilson or one of the big bosses up there could somehow get a cup so that we could add it to our collection, we would like to add one to our collection. If not, there's always the U.S. Postal Service. We could get one from there or UPS or FedEx. It doesn't matter. Drop it off in person. Anyways, maybe one of these 2 schools might want to get something to us. Claysburg-Kimmel at Glendale is the first game we're going to talk about. Claysburg-Kimmel 3-1. I think they lost their first game of the year. And then Glendale, the big surprise. I'm now a Glendale believer because I even picked them. Spank Trexler, BG alum, coaching up there now. They're 3-1. They're hosting. Who's the underdog in this game?
I'd say Glendale's still the underdog, but they've already won more games than they won last year. Last year they won their opener and then didn't win another game the rest of the year. With 3 wins in the single A playoffs, they're probably already in a position where they will qualify for the playoffs if they choose to enter. They haven't won more than 4 games in a long time there. So if they get to a 4th win over a quality team like Claysburg, it's going to be really impressive. I mean, their defense held Everett to 2 points 2 weeks ago. They were able to score 40 against West Branch last week. They have been impressive this year.
And he's got them. Trexler's got them believing up there. I think with high school kids, that's half the battle because sometimes if you're a Glendale kid, you're seeing a team that's got a better record than you. You're thinking, oh, geez, how are we going to do it? They got the same record as Claysburg. They're 3-1, just like Claysburg is, and they're home. And I just think that matters a lot to me in high school.
And last week, a big playmaker for Claysburg, Clay Combs, Zach Claycomb, he did not play. I'm not sure what his status is for this week. So, Claysburg has done really well the last few years. They've won a playoff game. So, if they want to keep the upward trajectory, they're going to need to win this one.
And speaking of 3-1 teams, like we just were there, another one Friday night. Southern Huntington 3-1 at Juniata Valley 3-1. Didn't Southern Huntington lose early too, and now they've kind of rolled off some wins?
But they both. This was a great game last year. Last year, Juniata Valley won the game by 8 points, and Juniata Valley went on to win the district title. So obviously, it was a good Juniata Valley team. They had to score 21 points in the 4th quarter to win that game last year. So Southern Huntington has a lot back. They have a veteran quarterback in Scott Garlock, the coach's son. And Juniata Valley is going to be tested. This will be a big test to see how well these people that have come in to replace Quinn Zanoble, Jackson Rand, see how well they, like new quarterback like Caden Rupert, running back Ryan Beatrice, see how well they're ready to step into the spotlight.
And I covered, I did not get to see Juniata Valley last year. I did get to see Southern Huntington in a game with Bellwood, and they played Bellwood, toe-to-toe up until late in the game, and Bellwood just had too many. Bellwood had like 55 kids. I think Southern Huntington had like 20-something. But Southern Huntington, and that guy, Mr. Garlock, they're well coached, and he doesn't sugarcoat anything when he coaches those kids or when he talks to the media. So I expect that to be a good game. Leading to our next game, some people from Maryland are not expecting to be a good game. It's Fort Hill from Maryland is coming up to play Hollidaysburg. Fort Hill's 2-0. Hollidaysburg's 2-2. Hollidaysburg's not only lost the last 2 weeks, they've gotten crushed the last 2 weeks. And I believe Fort Hill's victories were 49-0 or 63-0 and 49-23, something like that. And last year's game was down there. I covered it for the Mirror, and it was a 19-7 game, and 2 of their touchdowns were on pick sixes. So, but I still think Hollidaysburg has their work cut out for them against this team where they just expect to win, and they travel well. That place is going to be crowded with red and white and yellow uniform colors.
They've won a ton of state championships in Maryland, and the problem with this game is it's not really Fort Hill versus Hollidaysburg. It's Fort Hill versus the team that is used to be Hollidaysburg. I mean, there's so many backups playing right now, and they're getting a ton of great experience. But there's so many star players for Hollidaysburg that are out right now that it's really hard to imagine them, pulling off the upset here.
In the first quarter, I know because I covered the game last week. Like I said, there were 2 10th graders, and I can say their names is Carter Schultz and Vincent Franco, who I do know personally. We're starting at right guard and right tackle, and they already have a junior at center, and now they did have a senior at the tackle spot, but they had another junior on the line. There was a reason why Bryce Martelacki was running for his life in the first half. They need to learn how to play at the varsity level, and they're probably going to have to learn again this week unless somebody gets healthy between now when we're doing the show and when that game is Friday night. But I think Homer DeLautry can scheme his team into good positions to be successful. But I know the junior class at Hollidaysburg lost to Fort Hill in 9th grade. The 10th grade class at Hollidaysburg beat Fort Hill. I don't know how much that carries over. I just know they have a ton of numbers on their roster. It's going to be way more than what Hollidaysburg is going to dress Friday night. Our next game would be, staying local, is Central Dauphin East is at Altoona. Both teams are 1-3. Central Dauphin East just got pasted last week by Harrisburg, but everybody gets pasted by Harrisburg. Altoona got roughed up big time by Chambersburg. I picked Altoona. I figure when you have 2 1-3 teams, I like to take the home team. What are Altoona's chances in this one, Mike?
Well, I will say this: Central Dauphin East has only scored 6 points in the 3 games that they've lost, and that's what Altoona needs right now because Altoona's given up almost 40 points a game. Everybody's talking about how Altoona's offense has been struggling a little bit to pick up the new offense, but the defense has really struggled, which was not the expectation because the offense is supposed to keep the defense off the field. So, this is a chance for them to get on track against a team that doesn't score a lot of points, and if they can keep it low scoring, they could pull out a victory. Central Dauphin East beat them last year in overtime when they blocked Altoona's extra point.
Down there, right?
Yeah, down there. So,
and this is going to be Altoona's running that new offense. They've been all summer at it, August, September now. You got to think the more reps they've been getting, the better they're going to get at this. And this is a team that they could really get better at that offense against. And you just got to hope if you're an Altoona fan that works for them. Our last game, this is the game, I don't know who's covering it for us, but State College, I believe, undefeated.
Yep.
Chambersburg, I believe,
they
undefeated.
They
have a loss, but it's down at Chambersburg.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how State College does because they crushed Carlisle, crushed Hollidaysburg, they crushed Mifflin County, and that New Jersey team they won just barely. But what do you expect from the Chambersburg?
And they've been crushing Chambersburg for 15 years. In fact, the last 15 years they're 15-0, and most of the games were really lopsided. But last year it was a close game, and Chambersburg has a great senior class. They showed that when they played against Altoona. And the thing is State College is going to be tested in this game. State College was tested last year, and State College had, some big name athletes on that team last year. So it'll be interesting to see how State College does against this team. Obviously, they were tested against the team from New Jersey earlier this year, but this will be a nice mid-pen test for them.
Was it a blowout last year, or was it a close game with the Chambers?
It was a close game. It was relatively close when we're talking about State College.
So what we've learned from today's show is that Altoona has a chance to get better. Glendale could really make a name for themselves with a win Friday night, and we really want to add more cups to our collection. Mike's been all right with it. I'm sad. I've come to work every night this week, waiting to see another cup added to our edition. I'm still counting on Bellwood Annis. I've given up on Tyrone. I just don't think I'm going to see a cup unless I go to somebody's house and take one from his kitchen cupboards. But until next week, for Mike Boyden, for our director Pat Waxmonski, who's behind the camera praying to God that I don't do anything bad. My name is Scott Franco. Thanks for watching the Mirror Football Show on YouTube.